And if I was playing as all these people, the way the hand should go, I open I open 60. I think that's fine. He should raise to like 220 or a call. Probably 220 though, I would think. Batty should just cold call. Capone would probably make it 900 maybe 820 or something. I would fold. Lacto would shove. Batty would fold. Capone would get it in, and he'd just go broke. Playing the hand that way for every party that I've just given hands to makes the most money for their hand. The right hands play their hands for value, and these two hands play it for set value. Us two. We don't overplay our hands at all, which is how the hand should go if I was playing for every player. I just bet out here on the top right. This is a 150, by the way. I don't know if I said that, but the lobbies should match. For another 2 minutes anyway, the lobbies will match. Here was a limped pot by Maslamach and it seems not good guy by the 12 hands I have on him. And I could have check called. That seems like the standard way to play the hand, but instead I bet out. I mixed it up a lot. I mean, I mixed up betting and checking there. On a king six deuce, if I got called, I'm probably not super ahead. I mean, I might be if he has like sevens or nines or something like that. But I think if I just check call, it puts me in a kind of a unknown spot, which I'm okay with. But at this point, I was okay with just betting to see how they reacted, and probably bet getting it in maybe against six mama, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to see how that hand played out on the turn. It's kind of just to see how they'll react, establishing a dynamic. Here we bet out for value on the turn when it checks through. I think we have the best hand like all the time. And when he checks behind flop, I don't think he ever checks behind the slot with like ace jack or something like really like a good ace on the flop. So I think he checks. I think maybe on the turn he has like queen jack with the queen of hearts or something like that a lot. I think I'm checking here hoping he'll bet a heart. Because he's obviously never folding an ace if he has like ace five that he played for pot control this way. But he's not calling with much worse though. If I bet the river, I'm just trying to get him to bluff with that hand. He has two eights. That makes a lot of sense for him to have. We'll talk about this in a second, I guess. I two barrel here with the flush draw, and now I just have to fold with not getting the right price to call for the flush. When the king hits, I think it's a good card to fire twice on. You get him to fold. Well, we'll talk about that hand separately in a second. This hand seems to make sense to me. I think his hand makes sense. It's reasonable. Wow, okay. I just got limp shoved on for $1 zillion, huh? Typically, I would just call this. I mean, this is usually like ace-king or something, but sometimes it's ace-queen, sometimes it's kings or aces. But I haven't seen that too often these days, this being aces or kings, especially not from like 2 in. Under the gun still, yeah, but 2 in. I think we chop a lot, but I do win a lot against like random cards. Where is he from? That's really the determining factor. Germany, I have to call, I think. I don't know how I don't. Yeah, so... Decent double up right off the bat. If he can have, I know we have like 3 hands on the queue to talk about, but if he can have in that spot ace queen, ace king, ace queen offsuit, ace king offsuit, aces, kings, queens, and jacks. Let's say he plays this way. My ace king offsuit. We're flipping, exactly. And with no overlay, at this point in the tournament, I can do so much damage with a 7k stack, versus a 3k stack, that it's worth taking the even equity. It's actually slightly plus EV, the pretty much even flip. And the fact that he can have sometimes like total random garbage makes it a call. I think if he was a tighter player that wasn't playing as loose as he was, if it kept saying USA instead of Germany for what it's worth, that might have been a slight thing that would push me towards folding. If I had ace queen, I'm gonna fold. I think just the fact that I can beat, I think he has ace king a lot. I think we chop very, very often. But on the other hand, I'm okay taking a flip, but sometimes he just has like total garbage. If he has garbage, just 5% of the time there, like not any of these hands garbage, then I'm making a pretty big mistake by folding. So let's talk about the two hands down here. This hand, I open on the button, he calls. Flop comes pretty good for me. He checks, I bet, he calls. Turn is a king, and he checks. When he does this, I think his hand is like 6-7, 6-5, 4-5. Let's compartmentalize it. He has bottom middle pairs, 3-4, 6-7, 6-5 type hands. Queen 10, Queen 9, hands like that. He has flush draws. Occasionally, he'll raise with those. But let's say he has flush draws too. Random 8-9 of spades, stuff like that. He has middle pocket pairs, 8s, 7s, 5s, 9s type hands. And let's say occasionally he has like ace-jack, ace-10, stuff like that. Against those hands, most of those hands will fold to a turn bet. So even though if I get check raised, I have to fold, I'm okay with that. Because so often, when I bet the flop and bet the turn, so many of those hands that I just rattled off, the 4-5, the ace-jack, the 7s, 8s, 5s, 6-5, 3-4, so many of those pair hands that can't stand a second barrel. And even if he does just call with a hand like 6-7 or Queen 9 or something like that, I still have a good amount of equity, anywhere between 9 to 12 outs to hit on the river and improve more. And sometimes the river will come another bad card for him, like a jack of clubs or something, and I can fire again and get him to fold if I feel like I can do it. So I think it's a pretty standard turn barrel. We just, didn't get there, and whoops. I don't know why my bet is dying. Might have to pause this to reset this. He opens to almost 4x share preflop and then fires near pot size bet. We have to peel one here. We have no choice. We have to call once. He can just have too many hands, ace queen type hands, that we have to call flop. On turn, if he checks, it's close between betting and checking. If we bet, we're betting as a bluff. We're trying to get him to fold a hand like jacks or tens. But when he fires twice, I think I'll just believe him at this point. If he had a hand like jacks or tens, he's going to check now. And if he has, ace queen, he's probably checking, which, I'm not sure how he can win this pot at this point. If we shove, is he folding? No, that seems kind of spewy. I mean, he's not necessarily folding. He definitely could have ace king and play it this way. I think we just fold and, without knowing the player for anything. I'm suspicious, but, what can you do? I'm going to fold here with a terrible straight draw and a small pot with the flush draw out there too. I'm going to pause the video for 2 seconds and we'll resume momentarily. Alright, sorry about that. The table didn't come up for ultimate bet and had to fix that. On the top right, I opened under the gun +1 and got called by the big blind, who is now check called. I'm gonna barrel this turn. I think it's a really good card to bet on twice. I'm gonna bet obviously king queen, ace king. It's just a good card to represent again to fold the hand like sevens. I will turn off that noise because ultimate bet noises are the worst. I thought I had done it, but I guess I didn't. Sound effects off. And we do win that pot with ace high there. Again, if we get, he can't really do much if he has like 7s or 8s or whatever. He just can't do anything about it. He just has to fold. And I think a lot of times is what he has. When he check calls that flop versus my raise under the gun as deep as we are, I'm going to +1. He's going to have like 3s through 9s a lot, hands like that. Maybe some ace highs that we're obviously ahead of, but we have to fire anyway. We want them to fold at this point because we can't check behind them. He'll bet the river. We can't give up initiative is the key. So I think it's a good 2-barrel. He just can't do anything. His range just can't stand a 2-barrel. So we're going to just fold there.